Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, and today I have a super special episode for you. You know how we all want to be fluent in English, but sometimes it feels like it's so hard to make progress, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is possible. And as proof, let me introduce you to someone very special. Someone who was once in the same position as many of you are now. Someone who started with almost zero English, but through sheer willpower and dedication managed to become proficient in English, even getting an IT job in the United States. That person is none other than myself. Yes, this is a story about me. Let me tell you how I went from being a guy who couldn't even order a cup of coffee in English to working in an IT company in the US. Let's dive in. It all began in Brazil. The year was 2012, and I was living in a small town called Governador Valadares, which is located in the state of Minas Gerais. For those who don't know much about Brazil, MG is known as one of the most conservative states in the country. So imagine a guy from this place wanting to work for an American tech company. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. At that time, I had almost no spoken English, just a few phrases that I had picked up watching TV shows like Friends and Family Guy. I remember that whenever I tried speaking English with people around me, they would just laugh at me because my pronunciation was so bad. They couldn't understand a word I was saying. Despite this, I never lost hope. I was determined to improve my English no matter what. So how did I start my journey? What was my secret? Well, the first thing I did was watch tons of videos on YouTube. In fact, I became obsessed with this platform. Back then, it was a gold mine of free resources for learning English. There were these amazing channels like English with Lucy, Real English, and Minglish, which helped me learn English step by step. These channels made learning English fun and interactive. And trust me, there's nothing more important when you're trying to learn a language on your own. Now, you might be wondering, hey, didn't you say he watched tons of videos? How is that enough to get a job in the US? Well, you're absolutely right. Watching videos is not enough if you want to get a job in another country. And believe me, I know this. After watching hundreds of videos, I realized that something was missing. I needed more structure, more interaction, and most importantly, I needed to start speaking English. I couldn't keep hiding behind my Brazilian accent forever. This realization led me to search for online language exchange platforms where I could practice my English with native speakers. And guess what I found? I discovered an incredible platform that connected me with a tutor who would help me on my journey. With her help, I could finally start speaking English. It wasn't easy, though. My first conversations were pretty basic. We talked about hobbies, families, and simple everyday things. But as my English improved, our conversations became more complex. I started talking about global politics, science, technology, and everything else that interested me. Looking back, I can honestly say that this language exchange program was the best decision I made during that period of my life. It gave me the confidence and skills I needed to start working towards my ultimate goal, landing a job in the US. Now let us fast forward a bit to 2016. I had been working hard on my English for 4 years, and I felt it was time to take the next step. I wanted to put my skills to the test and see if I could really work in an English-speaking environment. So I decided to apply for an IT job in the US. To my surprise, I got a lot of callbacks from companies, which gave me a ton of confidence. However, in the end, I wasn't successful in securing a worker's visa. Unfortunately, the process was very slow and complicated. As the days went by, I started losing hope. I thought maybe working in the US was just a dream that would never come true. But you know what? I'm the kind of guy who doesn't give up easily. So I decided to try again in 2017. Once again, I applied for a few IT jobs and went through the interview process. This time I was more prepared and confident than ever before. And guess what happened? I got to job offers in the same week. It was a dream come true. I couldn't believe it. I remember jumping up and down in my apartment in Brazil when I got the news. It was such an exciting feeling. Now let me tell you a little more about these job offers. One was from a company in New York and the other was from a company in California. Both companies offered me the same position as junior software engineer. The salary and benefits were also quite similar. So how did I decide which company to join? Well, the decision was actually pretty easy. You see, my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, was living in San Francisco. I knew that if I accepted the job in New York, we would be separated for a while. And I couldn't bear the thought of that, plus I had always dreamed of living in California. So it was a no-brainer. I accepted the job offer from the company in California and moved to the US. As you can imagine, moving to a new country and starting a new job was both challenging and exciting. There were so many new things to learn and adapt to, but I was determined to succeed. I worked hard, learned as much as I could, and most importantly, I didn't give up. You know, there were times when I felt homesick or missed my family and friends back in Brazil, but I knew that I had to focus on my goals and not let those feelings hold me back. I reminded myself why I had come to the US and what I wanted to achieve, and that kept me going. After 6 months of working at the company, I was offered a permanent position as a software engineer. It was another dream come true. I couldn't believe that I had gone from a guy who couldn't speak English to a guy who was now working in a real software company. It was all thanks to my hard work and dedication. Today, I still live in California and continue to work in the IT industry. I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people and companies. And every day I feel grateful for the journey that brought me here. Looking back, I can say that the most important factors in my success were my determination to learn English, my willingness to step out of my comfort zone and seek opportunities abroad, and my ability to persevere through challenges and setbacks. Now, let me tell you this, becoming fluent in English isn't a walk in the park, especially if you're doing it on your own. But let my story inspire you to keep going. If I can do it, so can you. Don't let anyone tell you that your dreams are too big or your goals are unrealistic. Believe in yourself and work hard to achieve what you want. Remember, the only person who can stop you from achieving your goals is yourself. Now, I have a question for you. What steps have you taken to improve your English? Are you actively practicing or planning to do so? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Also, please don't forget to support the channel by liking this video and subscribing for more great content. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, happy English learning.